gonna kick it.
So I guess we'll go ahead and get started with a entry into a franchise that up to this point I think it had been completely strong in our views anyway.
Right.
Like you have
as far as watchable movies.
Yeah,
I think they were like, the third one didn't do well at all in the theater.
But still, like in terms of stuff that we like, I don't think you could go wrong. You had Halloween 1, which is a fucking classic. You had Halloween 2, which in my opinion is actually a classic too, and it continues right through, beyond Halloween, the first Halloween. Then you had Halloween 3, which everybody pretty much agrees shouldn't even been called Halloween, but was an awesome standalone movie in and of itself. And then you went back to the roots with Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers, and that one in and of itself was a pretty good return to that same formula of movie. And then something happened, and it was like somebody shit right on top of your chest in a massive event.
I think one of the problems was the director of the movie, who they had behind the camera, Dominique Authen-Gerard, who basically he's a TV movie director. I mean, one of the only other movies that I have his, or that I've seen of his, is just fucking laughably shitty. And it's Omen 4, The Awakening, I think is what that one was called. And that was the one where it was Damien's daughter. Is now which is fucking stupid. But anyway, Halloween 5 has some of the same cast. Now, they did continue over from Halloween 4. You had Danielle Harris reprising the roles of Jamie Lloyd. You also had Ellie Cornell as the older sister.
Rachel Carruthers, I think.
Rachel Carruthers.
I don't even need the DVD. That's how fucking good I am. I remember this shit.
Oh, buddy, whatever. Okay. You didn't remember the stuttering fucking kid, and I did. Okay, I was like, this is the movie with the little aggravating stuttering kid you want to smack the dog shit out of. But, okay, the end of Halloween 4, you had Jamie, who killed her mother, is what we were led to believe, and then they completely just kind of forgot about that, about the ending of Halloween 4.
Right.
And now Jamie is in a kid's home, and she cannot speak. She does not say a word until maybe the last 15 minutes of the movie.
So it's a hell of a performance by Danielle Harris, because she's a mute throughout the movie.
Yeah.
But more so than that, like you remember from the first film, Michael Myers gets like shotgun blasted to hell and like ends up down this river and all this stuff.
Right.
In this one, there's this little, I don't know what the fuck he is, hermit guy that lives out on the fucking river.
It's Old Man River.
It's Old Man River. Picks him up, and for some inexplicable reason, like nurses him back to health for months, apparently.
For like a year?
Yeah.
For a year.
It is a year,
It's a year.
Why? See, who knows?
Michael, he doesn't work aside from October. That's his month. Right. So he just takes the rest of the year off.
So
I guess I'm just resting up for a year. Goddamn, this hobo's going to take care of me. What didn't he have a fucking parrot or something too? Didn't the hobo have like a bird?
There was something like that. Yeah. He's a fucking pirate.
He's hiding out because he's looking for his buried treasure.
So you got, like you said, Danielle Harris is mute, and you got Ellie Cornell, Rachel character, and her friend in this is the most annoying character possibly in any of the slasher franchises.
Lindy Kaplan, who played Tina.
Yes.
Yeah.
Holy
just
shit.
Airhead dumb bitch. Seriously, like I couldn't stand even listening to that bitch.
But she's so annoying throughout the whole movie. It's like she says some of the stupidest shit, and like it's just her delivery of her lines and stuff is so over the top that you just want to strangle the piss out of her. Like you're begging for her to get killed. Really.
You want to know something else too that gets on my nerves? And this guy's made he has made a flat fucking fortune doing absolutely nothing but coming up with different versions of fucking John Carpenter's theme music. That's fucking Alan Howarth's ass. Yeah. That's all he's ever fucking done. Like, how difficult is that? Me and you don't even play the goddamn keyboard. We could probably do what the fuck he does. He's like, oh, motherfucker, I haven't played it on guitar yet. Let's play the theme on guitar, and that'll be the fucking theme for this fucking episode, or this chapter.
Yeah, he does do that a lot. But there's several people that do stuff like that too.
Oh well, yeah, but I'm picking on Alan Howarth today.
Okay. So the whole movie is basically just him, Michael Myers coming back to life, being nursed back to health, and then Daniel Harris has some sort of psychic connection to him, so she knows like when he's coming to get her and all this stuff. And Donald Pleasance is her shrink, and he's been watching over her since she went mute and all this shit. And all that stuff's coming together for this big Halloween party type of thing that they have out on this ranch and all this stuff that happens. But the real problem with this sequel is not any of those things. The real problem with this sequel is it's the introduction of the stupid fucking mythology of that thorn shit that happens throughout the rest. Well, the next movie, I guess. Yeah. Then it dies like a
they kind of
rightful death, thankfully. But it's like, this was actually kind of like the precursor to things like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre prequel, where they had to show you like all the shit, like the backstory behind why he is the way that he is. And
the thing that's so fucked up about it is like how much time they give it in this movie. Like you see the figure in black, and at the end, Jamie's kidnapped and everything else. And then, like in the next movie, I guess in the finished movie, there's nothing. You don't get shit. Okay, now the producer's cut does go back to that a little bit and explain it a little bit, which is even more retarded. But I mean, that's just completely wasted with this. I mean, you get nothing. You're like, what the fuck is that? Who the fuck is that? Who's the damn fucking black Undertaker-looking motherfucker?
It's like this, though. You got all this other stuff going on. You got the farm sequences with Michael Myers and the chase sequences with Daniel Harris, which actually is probably the best part of the film, where she's down in the whatever that is, the basement or whatever with all that shit, and like they have that moment where she's like trying to talk to him, and then he goes off and tries to murder her and all that stuff. That's actually probably the best part of the film, or whatever. But you got all that stuff going on, but then for some reason or another, they add all that other stuff in, which is not, it doesn't fit anywhere else in the movie. You just have that guy show up. He walks around for a little while, like he just walks back and forth, and then at the very end, you've got the end sequence where it's like supposedly breaks him out of prison or whatever that is. And
no.
It's like, where the fuck did that come from? Like, it doesn't.
Yeah, it's like something they were like, oh, that's what we could do for the next movie.
And they didn't really even do anything with that.
Well, I mean, I think the original intention was to kind of semi-explain what in the fuck it was. I don't know originally what in the hell it was. I think that one guy that we should try to get on here is the damn director, and maybe he could explain it.
Yeah. I mean, we've actually had the writer of Part 6 on, but we've never had anybody. I
mean, the thing is, once they got a whole... Part 6 was 6 years later. That was made 6 years after this movie. Who knows originally what in the fuck it was.
Well, I do remember, though, seeing this movie in the theater, and I was, at that time, pretty excited about that whole... Because when you're a kid, and you're probably... When did that movie come out?
89, I think.
When you're 9 years old, that probably seems like a fucking awesome twist. But when you go back and watch it now, you're like, oh, that's the stupidest shit.
Yeah, because it never fucking went anywhere.
Yeah.
And the whole movie, man, just reeks of just like shit.
It's like the WCW invasion angle. It never went anywhere.
It's like WCW circa 1992 or something when you're seeing the fucking Cole twins out there. I mean, it's just like, just shit, just generic, just awful. You had fucking, speaking of wrestling, you had fucking Tatanka playing fucking Michael Myers.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know this. Don Shanks played Michael Myers. I think it was his only franchise.
Yeah.
Buffalo. And he was in, the only other movie I can recall him being in was Sweet 16, like where he was
he's probably done stunt.
He was a stunt man though, yeah. A Native American stunt man. But there's so much shit wrong with this. Number one, the best part about Part 4 was Danielle Harris, and she doesn't talk in this movie. And for the other part of it, you had the stuttering little stupid kid.
Well, you had Ellie Cornell's character died fucking just like
that.
Yeah,
just like really early on.
Kind of the opening scene even, I think.
Yeah. And I hate when they do that shit anyway. So you take away all the best parts of the movie, like the last movie, and in the place you put a bunch of horrible characters like that Wendy Kaplan and a bunch of
I don't know. Shit. I don't understand. Like, it seemed to me that Ellie Cornell could have kind of taken on the Wendy Kaplan role, and they could have changed. I just don't get that at all, because Wendy Kaplan, whatever her name is, she's an awful actress. She was awful in this role, and just annoying. Like one of those characters, like, why in the fuck did they put her in this big of a role in the movie? Because you can tell she's not that experienced of an actress anyway by watching it.
Right. And the other thing, too, that a lot of people complain about, which is actually true in this movie, is like everything in the movie is kind of askew. And the mask is, too, is the thing. Like the mask, they did something to it to make it look like real narrow and pointed or something.
And he's also got a mullet, kind of.
Yeah, it's like a peacock or something. He looks like a fucking peacock.
I don't know what the deal is with the mask now. I never did understand that. Because, like, the mask seemed to get worse and worse.
It did, yeah.
Goes on. And they always have... What's strange is like, on 4 and 5, on the fucking artwork, they have, like, the original mask. But in the movie, it's some just piece of shit.
They couldn't put that piece of shit on a poster or anything. That would be retarded. I mean, that mask.
Not. But it's just confusing where you're like, wow, I mean, that's the original mask. You're like, oh, cool, this is going to be awesome. But I just never did get that. Whatever. So
by the time you get to part 6, though, the mask almost goes back to the way it used to be. And then when you get to H2O, it's completely different. Yeah. And then by the time you get to Resurrection, it looks like shit dipped in shit.
Isn't H2O the one that looks like he's fucking smiling? Like,
yeah, it's kind of, yeah. It looks like plastic or something. It's hard to explain.
Yeah.
But this whole movie is just a series of bad decisions, really. And you're right. That probably does fall back on the director more than anything. Because you've got everything from the original movie. You've got it all.
Yeah.
And you fucked it up that much. I mean, part 4, not the original
Yeah,
movie.
because you got to remember, I mean, these movies weren't really studio movies when they came out. I mean, this was like Mustafa Akkad. He was funding these movies pretty much. So they had, had the freedom to do whatever they wanted to on it. And yeah, so, and you got, I think it was Dwight Little that did I don't know what the fuck happened to that guy. I don't know if he ever did anything else.
I don't think he did. I seems like I tried to find him recently.
I thought he did a pretty good job. But yeah, I mean, Halloween 5, I gotta say it is horrible, but it's still like I would still rather watch Halloween 5 over probably H2O, Resurrection, or any of those Rob Zombie movies.
I know I would over Resurrection, definitely the Rob Zombie ones. But to me, it's like Halloween 4 is remembered in a lot of reverence between horror fans because that is something that saved the Halloween franchise, and when they brought that out, it's like all the people our age really were able to catch up with the movies, and this movie really killed it. Like it's like between 4 and 5, if you think about it. After 5, it was kind of dead. Like they did 6 and all that stuff, but 6 didn't do shit.
Well, I mean, you had Halloween 4 and 5 come out back to back years.
Yeah,
and Halloween 4, as I remember, did really well, and this one didn't. So it was another, like I said, it came out, 6 came out in like 95, so it was another 6 years until that one came out. And as I remember Halloween 6, although I'm a fan of Halloween 6, I've always liked the movie, that movie was barely even out at all. Like, because I can remember in the late 90s being like, what in the fuck they made a Halloween 6? You know?
Well, 95 wasn't a banner year for slasher films anyway. I mean, 89 was probably a lot better year for that shit.
Yeah.
But like I said, though, in my opinion, that movie fails on almost every level, from the acting to the directing to the dialogue to the way everything looks.
It's a goddamn failure.
That's the best way. It's the best way to explain it, really.
Yeah. Well, they do something in this movie too that's actually a pretty good scene, but it never really goes anywhere. Where Michael has his mask off, or does Jamie take his mask off, or something like that, and you can't hardly see him.
Yeah.
You see he's got longer hair and stuff, and like they kind of have a moment there. And isn't there something in this movie too where Jamie can kind of like communicate with Michael?
That's what I was saying. She's got some sort of telepathic
link
with him in this movie. Yeah.
And that was never ever mentioned in the other movie. Did all this shit change in 1 year? Like, she can't talk. She, aside from telepathically with Michael, who she had little to no contact with.
Well, you remember in part 6, the little shitty kid, the dumbass little kid, got some sort of weird telepathic link with him too, because he keeps seeing those fucking...
They got that voice. That voice talks, "Kill me, Dickie," or whatever it is. What was the kid's name?
I hope it's Dickie. I don't think it is.
I swear the voice was something like, "Kill me, Dickie."
It is. It is.